Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. I really appreciate you following us here on twitch.tv/DDOstream.
Right,
Don't forget to click... Oh, let me... I always do that. There's a preview screen. I never hit the mute button, right? You think after a while you'd learn to do something like that. Anyway, so we are here running Epic Elite on Argonnessen. We've got some special guests we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But first, I did want to do a quick programming note. There will not be a weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream next Wednesday. I'm not going to be around to be able to do it next Wednesday, so no live stream next Wednesday, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Also, just remember at 1:30 here today, we are doing the Summer Fling static group, so if you want to stick around and join us for that, we'd really appreciate that. That's a static group on Argonnessen as well. All right, let's get started with a couple of introductions here. My guest this week is someone who's here to talk a little bit about Epic Elite and, well, I don't know, can I say show us how it's done? With me is Cetus. Say hello, Cetus.
Hey, hey.
So, you have, oh, I don't know, I've certainly been a voice on the forums for Epic Elite content, posting up videos and running some pretty tough stuff on some pretty awesome characters. So we thought we'd have you on just to kind of show us a little bit about Epic Elite and provide some tips and tricks and all that sort of thing. But first off, I gotta say, you have an awesome looking Warforged.
Thank you. This is the only skin I found even remotely appealing in Video Star. Sorry, guys.
Hey, that works
I think it's a very good idea to allow us to customize our appearances, but come on, this one's like...
Sure.
Blowing the other ones out of the water.
And you brought a couple of friends with you as well. You want to introduce them or have them introduce themselves?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, Temp here is a very old friend of mine since beginning days of playing DDO, and you know, I guess the friendship lasted for a while, and he's playing that favorite soul build of his, variant, which he's been pretty good on. I don't know much about it though.
Cool. And we do have a couple members who joined us from the LFM we put up as well, so I do want to welcome Templars, Farwill, Ducalion, and Miriella? I hope I get that all right. But alright, so Epic Elite. I have been criticized, probably rightly so, on this live stream, that my characters are not ready for Epic Elite on the live stream. This is true. This is absolutely, I'm not denying it. These characters are largely not ready for Epic Elite. This guy is on Argonnessen. He is a live play character that I have actually played to level 25 here. He's got 1 past life on him, and does have some gear, so he's about as ready as anyone that I could whip together and be willing to put out into the public eye, so to speak. But Cetus, you're obviously much more ready for Epic Elite. So when you hear that comment, are you ready for Epic Elite? What do you think that means to you?
It means several things. First, I think general quest knowledge. Can you get to the quest? Are you familiar with how the quest plays out? With that said, I don't think it's exclusive to new content, say, that you guys would release, because obviously we wouldn't know about it, but we would still be ready, generally, for the Epic Elite version. From the vantage point of gear, past lives, that you have your Twitch skills in place, you know, you can react to a certain incident. It's a very vague phrase, I think, but
it is.
And
it's often said to say basically you suck, except I don't want to tell you you suck. but hey, that's well, okay too, right? Yeah.
It's okay to suck as long as you're cool about it and you're not, you know, constantly pestering people for invites or shares or.
So there's probably a whole group of players out there who, I think if you feel like yourself you are ready for Epic Elite, chances are you probably are, or you'll learn very quickly that you're not. But there's a whole other group who would probably say, hey, I would like to be Epic Elite, what do I need to do? I suspect the answer is largely a lot of leveling, a lot of getting familiar with the quests, and frankly a lot of gear acquisition.
I think it's even more than that. Some people might not like this aspect of it, but it's just doing research.
Yeah.
The game is complicated enough that it warrants a certain level of investment as far as game mechanics go. In my case, over the years, as I tried to improve myself, I crunched every damage number I can possibly think of as I was building my melees. And in turn, that sort of provides a way to promulgate yourself across the across the difficulty spectrum. Before you know it, you're in Epic Elite content doing quite well.
So the only other thing, and we'll get started here real soon, but the only other thing I wanted to ask about is there's there's not a walled cross or a line to cross. Now all of a sudden I'm Epic Elite. It depends, I think, on a spectrum as to whether you feel you're ready. But when do you think you're ready to join Epic Elite quests, even if your character is not necessarily ready to solo it? Because, for example, I do run Epic Elite, even on characters that are not necessarily Epic Elite ready. And yeah, maybe I'm piking a bit more, maybe I'm not contributing as much as others, but I'm contributing something. And where do you know, where does that line fall? Where do you sort of know when it's okay to join that LFM?
When you feel like you know the limits and powers of your character. So, for instance, if I'm running a sorcerer and I achieved, I don't know, 60 enchantment DC or so, I'm pretty confident that I can go into an Epic Elite run, aggro maybe 10 mobs, throw down a disco ball, and it'll stick them. That allows me a certain freedom when I run even Epic Elite content, knowing that I have some threshold ability that allows me to survive. That's just an example of knowing the ability of your character within a more aggressive context. And if you can handle the more aggressive context, I think you're generally ready for Epic Elites.
Sure. We should say we're going to put this to the test. We are going to be running some Epic Elite, pretty difficult content here. This is in the Stormhorns. We're going to see how many of these quests we can get done, largely, but let's just get started, see what we can do. So, I guess, do you feel that there are certain builds? I mean, certainly there are some builds that are better for Epic Elite than others, right? I mean, probably it's our main ones. You see your Shiratis and your Monkshers and all that sort of thing, too. Do you have any preferred builds for Epic Elite?
My preference is really melee and Sork at the moment. It depends if you're trying to play a more active role in the quest or if you're doing more backup stuff. With that said, I think that whatever role I plug in, I hope that my effectiveness is accomplished by effort. A lot of my comments on the forums revolve around abilities that are just given, something like the Shirati or the Pin, things like that. And I'm kind of more of a fan of a effort versus reward type system.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's buff up here. I know I'm asking the wrong group, but does anyone need Deadly?
Absolutely.
Orifon stands in the middle of the glade. He seems to be looking for something.
I'm just going to pass it out unless someone tells me not to. Now, there are different ways I play, too, when I do run Epic Elite quests. Like, so this is an Artificer. I have an Arty Dog. He's okay, but I'm largely not going to bring him out to Epic Elite, because he just isn't in a position to really succeed there.
I think the dog is useful for pulling levers and things like that. That's pretty much what their function is nowadays in my grouping circles. If you're like running a pop and you're trying to solo a room or something, you just put your orb in the receptor and have the dog pull the lever.
Ah, you're here.
Yep, absolutely.
Sport and lend me a hand? My journal's wandered off. It can't have gone far. It's somewhere in this glade. I've lost too many pages as it is. There it is.
Yeah, someone mentions in chat, casters usually want enchant weapons over deadly. That's probably
but
true.
now may not be the time.
I am paying attention to chat as well, so if you are on our Twitch chat, feel free to pop a question in there, and I'll see about getting it asked. Talk about some other stuff.
There. Now you can't go scurrying back the way you came. Now Hunt Silver comes with me, and the rest of you may die as my comrade here sees.
That was quick.
So long. The wizard teleports with Orifon, leaving the others behind to fight. As if I would waste my time. These woods are crawling with the nether.
Someone asked in chat when
Before you
update
have any
23 will be on the
learning
Mania.
what
I
became
say
of
no time
Orifon.
in the immediate future. We're still working on it. We're still pretty early in development. It will be on the Mania, but it's going to be a little while yet. I can say this, however, we are working on another patch. It'll be another patch to update 22, and that should be here much more soon. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that onto the Mania. It is really just ultimately a handful of bug fixes, but some pretty good bugs to get fixed that cropped up with update 22. And, can't quite get into the list yet because I'm actually, frankly, working on the release notes today. But I could tell you it's a lot of the big things that have been happening since update 22. So we're going to sneak that out probably within the next couple of weeks. Probably not on the Mania. I think it might just go straight to live since it is just a handful of bug fixes. But we'll see, perhaps. So here's another question for you. How do you know if you're doing enough damage? Like for Epic Elite,
well, you're never doing enough
how
damage.
do you, right, I mean, it's always as much as you can do, right? But how do you know if you're, oh, I don't know, let's say 150, 200 a shot or whatever it is you're seeing, you know, much higher in crits, is that good enough, so to speak?
Well, it's all in context, right? I mean, if you have something to compare it to, when you're doing enough damage with Blitz around and Fury around, well, I find that a harder question to answer.
Yeah, that is a pretty tricky one. But I mean, obviously,
I think it's whether or not you're exploiting all the options available to you in the game that you're aware of.
Yeah, that's a good way to say
that, maybe.
Guess I just know, like, say, some of your videos, right? You show some just incredible damage to yourself.
Well, and that's exactly the reason why I just mentioned. I'm trying to exploit every source I can think of to accomplish that. And plus, you know, when you have abilities like Blitz, it really makes it just generally great, regardless if you have the +1 past life.
So how much do you like to share about that knowledge?
Completely transparent. It's no secret. It's just, you know, working in past lives and +6 tones for strength and some strength based in the build decision itself is revolving around damage in terms of bird stance, multipliers. You know, being Epic Completionists, they have a 4th twist lock to augment that a bit too. Damage comes in different varieties, so it depends on the content you're running. If you're fighting high fort mobs, then you want as much fort bypass as you can get. In which case, your twist would change.
I'm imagining both the forums and the DDO wiki are probably really critical to doing a lot of the planning and operations you do.
Well, it depends how much people really want to do work, quote unquote, or just play the game. I really get a lot of enjoyment out of the character building process. And seeing where I can squeeze out a little more effectiveness each time. Other people might not share much enjoyment in that, you know.
You have a lot of past lives, don't you?
Yeah, well, pretty much all of them.
Are you a completionist, triple completionist?
Yeah, both. The heroic and the epic version. I mean, even just now, recently, I redid my Thunderforged boss beater with alternate tier 3 mutation on it. That just do a little more damage.
So people split up
you
here.
can link it if you want to.
Are we heading this way?
Actually, yeah, sorry. They're going now. Oh, never mind. They went to Shrine.
Here's another tricky question. Do you or do you not pick up group Epic Elite?
You mean Pug?
Yep.
Generally, no, just because we have enough people within our grouping circle that usually fill parties. But a lot of time, yeah. I mean, yesterday we did an Epic Elite Deathworm run with probably a third of the group was pickup.
Epic Elite Temple of the Deathworm, huh? That's pretty good. Yeah, see, that sounds like an intimidating LFM to me, too. I'm not sure I'd want to join that one. Just only because I don't feel I would be good enough, right?
I think it's a good wake-up call for people that are used to running Epic hard stuff.
Yeah, I bet that's true. So have you had a chance to read, say, the forum thread about maybe some of the armor mitigation changes, that kind of thing?
I kind of glanced over it. If you'd asked me for specifics, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But the part that sticks out in my mind is the magic reduction, which I think is pretty good, but I still question its competitiveness with evasion.
Yeah, I think we'll see. We'll see soon enough.
I'm a little skeptical about that simply because evasion is, you know, no damage, provided you have the reflex, whereas magic resistance rating is just a reduction in damage. So I don't know, I'd have to see it in practice, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Sure.
Someone asked if I'm using Lucid Dreams. Yes, I frankly, pretty much all my artificers just stick with Lucid Dreams. I've got one that's not, that's 28 now with a different one, but I really like Lucid Dreams.
The magic orb's destroyed. Shy's shield goes down. Taking a breath, Shy deftly casts a spell, restoring both her shield and the orbs. Taking a breath, Shy deftly casts a spell, restoring both her shield and the orbs.
I saw that Farwell trying to steal my kill.
So, why would you say people should run Epic Elite?
Well, it seems to me that this game is based on advancing your character and progressing up the ranks till you get more powerful, right? That's the trajectory that you're thrown into. Epic Elite provides that target for people, and without the target, then It just seems like all the advancement seems futile. I could imagine other alternatives for why people play. I mean, role-playing or just lore aspects, but it doesn't seem like the lore lasts very long. I mean, you read the story once and then what?
Right. I always like better loot and all that too. Although, you know, there's always that eternal question of is it better to just go for, you know, maybe a lower difficulty more often, or Epic Elite, you know, and take a little longer.
Yeah, I think people know my position on that one. I'm very much against making loot available at the lower difficulty in their entirety. I think a tiered loot system was far better than what we had, for instance, with the Cove. It's just it does not incentivize running difficulty on anything higher than normal. And I think actually in that case you're able to get stuff in the wilderness.
Sure, sure. Yeah, you know, I mean, we don't have any immediate plans to bring back the tier loot system, but I would never say never on that. It's just a matter of development time and priority and all that too. And there is you know, if you've ever looked at the forums, which obviously you have, you know that it's a pretty hot topic in both directions. So. Well,
it doesn't even have to be a tiered loot system. That's just an example brought up because that's familiar to us. I'm sure there are other ways that loot can be introduced into higher difficulty quests that would be different from the normal version. Drop rate is just not enough. Yeah, the Draconic Soul Gem is a good example. It was only available on Elite in FOT, and it wasn't really that game-breaking. It was just something different but useful that you can acquire if you chose to pursue EE.
Sure.
The problem with just providing percent drop as a sole incentive is that in the end, it only matters on how much faster you can complete the normal version. And you would just rather do that.
True. Someone asked in the chat, is level cap 30 come out for update 23 or 24? The answer is neither. Take a look at the DDO producers letter that came out, I guess it was actually last month now. We did push out the level cap for now, and we don't really have a more specific time than that, but not in 2014.
I think that's a good decision, by the way. I applaud that one.
Yeah. And we just want to really, and we said it in the letter too, we just really want to make sure we have enough content to support it.
Absolutely. I think increasing level cap right now would be quite detrimental. Yep. Simply because of the content issue. We'd push everything up and we wouldn't really have much to accommodate, I don't think.
And we do like to provide some variety as well, so you don't feel like you can really only run this one pack or whatever for a certain level range.
I'm very nervous about this whole Orchard update. I just hope the loot is properly dealt with, because if Epic Elite doesn't give you much incentive, then it's not going to last very long.
You know, I cannot talk specifics, but just a little bit ago I kind of saw a very early version of the new Abbott raid. It was very exciting. And it looks like it's pretty much going to kick everyone's butt. At least at this point.
Looking forward to it.
But otherwise, Epic Orchard, you know, we do, I could say this, you know, we have at least started to take the loot and send it in front of the Players' Council for some conversations and just kind of feedback. So we are, you know, working on that as we speak. And it's going to be a mix of upgraded and new.
That's a pretty good approach. Sounds good. I don't know if somebody has to perform here for that part, but I don't think I can. I might be able to, actually. Say Fireball, you should be able to.
No. No.
What?
I'm a sorcerer.
Yeah, my sorcerer gets it. Get up to speed.
I keep it up.
You've finally reached the rendezvous point.
Okay, my perform is NA. Never mind.
One of the rocks is an illusion. Here, it is gone now. You have a few minutes to prepare before the convoys
This quest can be pretty
arrive.
tricky. What in general would you say is the best advice for doing this one?
Either have really high DPS blitzing melees or a good CC tune.
We have neither of both in this party.
Well, definitely not the CC tune.
The harpy nest lies ahead. With some smooth negotiating, they could be persuaded to attack the supply convoys.
One of the things I always like about this quest is it's a little bit like a tug of war, you know, where you're kind of holding the line and pushing forward and moving back as necessary.
Yeah, I think that's how it would play out if you didn't lock them down with a disco ball or an earthquake or
Harpies
something.
have been
But,
persuaded by your argument. They agree.
Hey, whatever works.
I did it.
Yeah, that's very good. Cost of the chest.
Muriella mentions the best tip for this on E is to get the Harpies optional, which I believe you just did, right? That'll take care of some problem for you.
Yeah, they kind of start the fight early of the boss. And then you can just jump down here, and once you kill this giant here that's on the floor, she opens up the doorway for that end boss to come through.
The door is up.
Someone asked in chat, will we have more new Epic Destinies? I think that's probably a given, that eventually there will be more Epic Destinies. I couldn't tell you exactly, you know, when the next one's going to be or whatever, but yeah, I mean, we like them.
Oh, and
I'd like to work on the weaker destinies first.
Right, I think
Yeah,
we've seen basically, I think we're largely just going to continue along the trajectory we have been there.
Yeah, a few of the destinies are exceptionally weak. It'd be nice to get them up to snuff.
Much better.
Want to name names? Which one do you most want on?
Oh, Shadow Dancer, Magister.
Magister.
Sentinel, a little bit, and it's not the weaker one, but I think it could provide a little bit more other than just knockdown immunity.
Primal Avatar.
Oh yeah, Primal, easy.
Alright, so basically we're just doing what here at this point?
I think Farwell's going to throw down some CC at the spawn points, and we'll just hack away.
I noticed that you're not doing a lot of order giving, so presumably then that just really comes down to knowing the quest and knowing how to do it just through practice in the group.
Not really big on orders. I think people should just play however they want, as long as it's conducive toward completion. When you have what they're doing, then, you know, simple question. Just get asked and
Time for preparation is over.
inform them.
The Netherese convoys are entering Tumble Rock Pass.
That was quick. So, Cetus, tell me about your character.
Well, he's a way to salvage my love for melee classes. Because Pure Fighter was kind of butchered. I'm sorry to say. It's just not much incentive to play Pure.
Now, I know you've recently been, you know, pretty vocal about wanting to see two-handed fighting get a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, I think it needs it.
Yep.
It's just glancing blows are the main attraction of it, and quite frankly, with the hit points we deal with nowadays, glancing blows aren't very significant. They don't do that much damage. Even when I'm fully invested with blitz, you know, my glance is hitting maybe 300, 400 points of damage tops. And you know, you're about to see giant spawn here with 15,000 hit points. That glance isn't very significant.
I would be very curious to see your thoughts after playing around with the new armor mitigation changes that are coming with update 23. I'll be really curious to see what your input is on that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be on top of that as soon as it becomes available. I'm very curious myself. That's a little expert.
You guys are making this look really easy. I guarantee you most groups would not have the same experience.
I think not having a safe experience here is also kind of fun sometimes.
Yeah,
like all
sure.
the crap, you have all these mobs just running all over the place. What do you do?
Now, you're not using, say, Insta-Kill, like, say, Swashbuckler or any of that. This is just straight DPS that's causing these guys to go down so quick.
That's coming from me, yeah. And I think Farble too. He's just holding and bursting. I'm not sure if other people are doing.
Okay, so what are you using?
I have the Mortal Fear weapon here with the slotted Meteoric Ruby. So when it procs, it does like this mass CC knockdown damage thing. With also a neg level augment.
Nice. And how would one get that sword if they wanted to?
We are done.
Deathworm ad nauseum. And Thunder Peaks ad nauseum.
Not a single one made it through to the Netherese army. Kyra Armon
Normal
has let
suffices.
gnolls snipe down from the edge of the cliff, a threat to anyone below.
Yeah, I was hoping you didn't.
At least got a couple.
The giant general falls, and with him goes the scheme to supply the Netherese army across Tumble Rock Pass.
Woohoo. Oh, we're doing good here. Just keeping on, huh?
You done?
Yeah, moving on to the next one.
Good check.
Someone asks, who designed the shrines? Unfortunately, I don't actually know the answer to that. Sorry. One of our artists, but probably back for the... It was for the Menace of the Underdark, I know that much. So one of our artists back from Menace of the Underdark.
I must say that the art is really good in this game. Always loved it.
Thanks.
I'm moving on to the next quest.
Yeah, might as well.
If I may, I guess switch to my sorcerer. Get him in a little bit.
Alright. We're just going to start from the front.
Do you have the north checkpoint unlocked?
No, I don't have any checkpoints unlocked on this guy. Because he just recently hit 25, so I really actually haven't even run this stuff on this guy yet.
Okay, we either run there, or you can die and I can carry your stone to the north camp
Oh,
by
yeah,
teleporting.
that's fine. We can just do that.
Are we choosing ranks or ice?
I think we're doing ranks.
Oh, wonderful.
Alright, we're just... I need to find some mobs here. I guess I'm going the wrong way.
Do you have a green steel item you can equip that has a taint on it?
Do I have a what?
A green steel item that has a taint on it usually just damages you. When you equip unequip quick enough, it kills it faster.
There we go.
Alright, let's wait for Ducalion.
Trying to think what other news I could probably pass along. I guess I could say that we are working to get the parrot cosmetic out, probably within the next couple of days here. So for those of you who weren't your creature companions, which I don't think this group is, maybe, I don't know. Do you like your creature companions?
Parrot?
Yeah.
Some of
for
us
those who
are
just
devout companion lovers. For sure.
We do have a new swashbuckler cosmetic too that'll be coming out real soon.
We have a particular guildie of ours, of mine rather, that has been trying to get us to help her run Epic Elite caught in the web just so she can get that cube.
Nice.
You can touch this stone and get the checkpoint.
Indeed, there's some good advice. How many times have I forgotten to do that?
Many.
Dragon SB asks, will iced edges from the new War Chanter be fixed soon? Yes. I believe that's one of the fixes that we're working to put into the upcoming patch that I just talked about earlier. The next patch to update 22. I'm pretty sure that one is perhaps in there. If not, it'll be coming up. But I think that's the goal, is to get it in. Alright, so here's a question for you then, Cetus. How does playing your Sork differ from playing your sort of fighter type in Epic Elite? Is it all just like completely different, or do you think there's a lot of similarity there?
The only similarity is that they both deal very high amounts of damage. Everything else is different, and that's why I enjoy the Sork a lot. I've been playing this tune quite a bit more, actually, than my melee throughout the past couple of months. It's a very different vantage point from which you view quests. And also, you kind of realize how powerful the distance factor is, and that's kind of what makes all the rangers and munchers work, too.
It is strangely
Right.
quiet.
I don't have to go
Mitigation is
toe-to-toe
not
with very
good.
hard-hitting mobs.
It looks like you'll have
Exactly.
to announce your presence.
Oh man, this
Yeah,
quest
but
I
this
know
build-
I have wiped on Epic Elite on. This quest could be pretty tricky because it's really an open map with a lot of mobs, and that always
Those
makes it a
gates
little
are
bit more
shut and
difficult.
barred.
Oh yeah, this one's a fun one.
The sound
We always
of
fight
echoes
at the
against
entrance,
mountains.
so
An
it's easier to control the mobs.
strategist appears
Oh, Farwell, you missed those.
by the dark fire.
I was talking.
You will die.
And the abundant step thing, or the wind dance, is very nice too.
You note
a lot of
the
fun.
edges of the armor are conspicuously clean and undisturbed.
So as someone mentions in chat, one of the big tricks for ranged in Epic Elite is really handling aggro. I mean, that is not just a ranged issue, but it is something I think is particularly important for ranged in Epic Elite.
Well, you can always handle aggro if you have the proper defenses too. That's why a lot of the muncher builds are popular, because you have the movement speed, which is kind of an indirect defense, I would say. And you have your evasion, you have your improved evasion, you have your shadow fade. There's just a lot of synergy there.
Yeah, that's a lot of dancing arms.
Those gnomes are the weakest, my horse, the strategist admits. A massive gate separates. Drayton close. You have summoned your own demands. Give them what they want, what they deserve. A great gate from a perch overhead. A great dragon stirs from its rest and gazes down with cold malevolence at the sea.
For me, I'm just using, like I say, gear is not totally set on this guy, but I do have opinion, and I do have green steel goggles. The Trap of Soul ones, actually. So this guy was my crafter for a while, particularly when camp crafting first came out. This was my Soul Gem guy.
You know, I actually like that system. It's kind of nice to get a few nifty combinations that you couldn't get elsewhere.
I agree.
I'm shining up this way.
For armor, I just have Epic Cavalry plate, but it works pretty well for this guy.
Cool,
Shiny.
says the Netherese mage. Well, you are calling the weak from the strong anyway. A strategist.
In many ways, I
must
feel
turn
more
every
effective on
piece to
my
his
sword than my
advantage.
melee, actually. Even when my melee blitzes.
Purpose.
That's
That was-
an illusion.
That's kind of my reaction to people's suggestions to maybe tune down blitz or something like that. If you do, then I think casters are just going to be the preferential choice. And I think swords are very well balanced right now against that. I think wizards could use some love about now. I think a few people might disagree, though.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well acknowledged. So, related to Master Splits, just to ask, because I know you use it a lot, how do you enjoy the mechanic of keeping up that Master Splits?
You know, I do. I think the opportunity cost is supposed to be there for the power it gives you. When I run with somebody like Farwell or other sorts that do mass amounts of damage, it's not easy to keep it up sometimes, and rightly so. I think if you're supposed to wield that much power, it needs to get earned somehow. And I think it's tricky to implement that within the practical confinements of the game.
I know one challenge we've
but
run
thus
into
far, I think it's alright.
is as you know, much as it's okay for maybe the Master Splitzer, especially if the person's in a party, it does impact the way other people can play to some extent. We tend to try to minimize that.
Well, when I'm blitzing, I make it clear that I hope that nobody tries accommodating it. If I can't keep up my own blitz, then I don't deserve to have it. That's my approach. And I don't always play in blitz either. There are a few situations, if I'm doing Epic Elite Ball of Truth, or if I'm doing Deathworm, where it isn't even beneficial for me to be in Dreadnought. I'd rather be in either Fury or Crusader, or one of those. I mean, if there were more tactics available for fighters to cycle through,
Ooh.
I wouldn't be... Oh, there you go. I wouldn't be against changing the blitz mechanic to using a successful tactic upon hit, like to hit a mob with, as opposed to using it in midair.
Right.
So if we had more tactics to use, then throughout the quest, like say this one, I would perform a successful tactical maneuver on 50 times, then I would be able to activate it.
Is anyone shining?
Do you have any idea how unwise it is to anger a wizard of Netherell? Well, you are about to have your answer.
We have some fun stuff in chat. Not much I can answer though, unfortunately. Someone asked a little bit about our event reference in the producer's letter, and we just aren't really in a position to talk about that yet. But it is something we're hoping to basically bring out towards the end of the year here.
Hey, Farwell.
Yes, Cetus.
Hey, Farwell. 3764.
I was busy talking.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, charisma 10. Oh, it's cursed.
Oh, come on, you'll let 10 beat you too. You should reroll to fire someone.
Unfortunately, I think I only have about 10 minutes left in the stream here. I'm not sure that's enough to get another quest in.
Might be pushing it.
Yep.
Not one of these, anyway.
So why don't I, as a little bit head toward wrapping up, just remind people, hey, ask me some questions in chat, I'll answer everything I can. And if Cetus, if people want to find out, I guess, see your videos or find out more about, you know, your tips and stuff for Epic Elite and that, do you have a place you could send them?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, Cetus Vid. They can find it in my signature on the forums, and I'm sure they've seen the build thread by now, so they can find info in the signature there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like I say, on the DDO forums, you have a link to basically all that stuff.
And I'm open to criticism. That's one big thing that I'm trying to stress. It's actually the reason why I posted the build to begin with, is I wanted people to break it best they could, from which I would be able to benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
So, criticize the hell out of everything. It's useful.
Man, I do like some of the loot in this thing. I'm looking at some of the mantles and cloaks and stuff. It's pretty nice. Gotta go for the Guardian's boots, I think. Alright, well, I think, let me just take a quick look at chat. I think that's gonna probably do it here then. So we will be back. So we will be back in about 40 minutes here at 1:30 to continue our Spring Fling static group. That's also on Argonnessen, and in a much lower state of gameplay than what we just witnessed here. I think we would all die at the entrance to any one of these quests that we went into, especially since we only use the gear that we have, that we find in chests.
Oh, that's gotta be frustrating at times.
It's fun. It's actually a really good time. But this is pretty low level stuff still. We're all around level 8. But all right, so join us at 1:30 if you'd like to. Otherwise, hey, thanks very much for joining me, Cetus. I really do appreciate it. And thanks to Templars and Farwell and Ducalion and Miriella for joining me as well. It's been great having you all join me today. Just a note, when we are done with the stream a little later this afternoon, I will send you guys an in-game mail with a Turbine Point code. Just a way to say thanks for joining us and being willing to put yourself out there on the live stream.
That's very cool. Thank you.
All right, and with that, we're going to call it. I will see you again at 1:30.
Take care.